Well, how much did the team need this? Just to
Boy, did we need it. Yes, and I think, that I looked at the January schedule. I took a deep breath and just hoped we could get somebody, So finally we got one of them. And of course, sure, you always want to get more, but I was certainly pleased with the fact that I thought we played a very sustained, poised game tonight. I didn't think there was anything spectacular. It was kind of a weird game. It's just kind of a weird game. I think that our defense got better as the night went on. I thought early on we just lucked out a little bit. They missed. And, that kind of gave us a chance to get our footing. And then once we finally settled in on how to go about attacking that zone and how to handle 4 and the rest of those kids, then we did a real nice, just really, really good, solid job all the way with different people stepping up at different times, doing big things for us.
When you have thought about this matchup maybe over the summer, would you have imagined a freshman being the one who gets McKenna for the most part with Alexis doing that?
No, but it was so much. We knew this was a good freshman class, and I think one of the beautiful things about it is just the way they each have such special gifts that they bring to the table. And there was, Alexis has just become a really good defensive player. She's got great size. She's a good athlete. She plays very intelligently defensively. She really understands instruction and angles and all that kind of thing. And she's just a very mature. All of these freshmen are, darn mature in my opinion for freshmen. But certainly to have that assignment and to not be, to not let it get to her. To just say, okay, all right, I got to do what I can do. And I think her size made some difference on McKenna. You're not going to stop her completely, but I thought it made some difference. We didn't have to pull so much help, which is what she's so great at. Is anytime the ball pulls 2 against Colorado State, you're in trouble. They're going to find somebody wide open to hit the 3. So, but like I said, it was just different, different people at different time. Keely hitting those 3s early, having the Lonnie down the stretch, Dasha down the stretch, Jada's rebounding, particularly in that 3rd and 4th quarter, was huge because we kept getting second opportunities. And that'll do a lot to kind of, especially in a game like this that was so sluggish, where, every possession seemed like it was golden.
Would you have anticipated the flow going like that? Was that?
No. That's what's so strange about it. I don't know. I feel like they dictated it more than we did in some ways. We'll run. We like to run, but they just blitzed us at their place in transition, and so hard to put a finger on it. I think the zone, certainly that zone, and the fact that it took us so freaking long. How many 30-second shot clock violations do we have? That'll slow down a game.
And then I just saw Dasha after the game on Saturday. She was in tears. Like, you can tell the losing really impacted her as a senior because she doesn't have the time to grow with this. And how important is that to have someone that everybody can look to and say, yes, we're developing, doing this at our pace, but we have somebody who wants it right now. Like, how important
it's huge.
Is that?
It's huge, and I think that what I respect most about Dasha is how she has jumped into a role that she has not had in the past. This is all new to her, and she's embraced it, and she's, she'll give you everything she's got to give, and that's just, you can't ask for anything more than that. So I was very happy to see her hit some shots and handle that whole high on ball because I felt like they were picking on her. I felt like they were picking on her a little bit. And she just didn't get rattled and kept working at it.
Okay. And then away from the game, I'm going to write about her soon.
Oh, good.
And she's in the room, which is a little...
That's okay. I wouldn't say anything that I haven't told her already.
For someone to have those offensive rebounding skills, that has to say something about a personality, I would think. Like, what have you seen in her that would lead you to understand why she's so good at that?
Jade is a very intense young woman, and she really takes things to heart. It matters to her. It matters to her to do the best she can. It matters to her to do whatever she can for her team, and she knows that's her gift. That's what she does really well. And then, early in the year, we had a game where nobody guarded her, and it was when we were out in Hawaii, and nobody guarded her, and she had never had that happen to her, and so she was struggling trying to hit a shot, and then came home, got in the gym, and she's pretty good now from three. and that's just saying, golly, I'm not going to let that be something that hurts my team. So I'm going to go get better at it. And she did. And so now people are really thinking about, whether they should leave her. So she's one of all these guys are just going to keep getting better. But again, Jada, much like Lex and Keely and all the rest of them, she's just very mature. And I think particularly those three that we've been leaning on hard, Jada, Alexis, and Keely, have just really handled it well, because that's not easy, especially with everything else going on at the academy.
And how did you find her in South Dakota?
How did we find you? Or is it the Nike? Well, and I think Jada's a real prototype of the type of player we need to go after. She's a really good player. She's just a little undersized. And that's, we can, okay, y'all, you may think she's too small, but like I say all the time, it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And she has a great instinct for the basketball, and she's a really good athlete. We've won more jump balls this year than we have any, and because she jumped center for us.
Okay. And then just from the mathematical equation part of it, to get those offensive boards, to get more shots, because you guys generally need more shots.
You think?
I've seen you.
Brent, what are you saying?
But how to find a piece like that, especially from a freshman.
Yeah. No, it's huge. It's huge when you're as small as we are. I think that's the biggest thing. We were able to get a lot tonight because it was against the zone, and threes always come off farther than the close-in shots. But the shots we started hitting were those gap shots and getting ourselves into the 10, 12-foot range and not just counting on being way outside. And but what it does is I thought that they were, we were struggling to hit. It was a real, tug of war in that stretch, and it's a backbreaker when somebody like her goes and gives us another possession. It's the kind of thing that can just make the opponent feel like, oh man, because it was that kind of tenseness at that point in the game. So those possessions were huge.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. That was nice.
How nice was that as a senior and everything that's been building for this and all that?
Well, January, I think we all knew we had a pretty hard time. And so just coming into his game, and it was our last game in January, getting ready for the February stretch, the second games for just the conference play, the second round. So it was really nice to get a win. And hopefully we can build off of it, and that's the goal. So.
Yeah, and as we talked about all these young players and all that, but you're the senior who wants the wins now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what was going on Saturday, and I may have totally read something into it, but you looked pretty upset after the game, like visibly upset. And given that, to turn around and beat CSU here, does that add to it?
Well, definitely, after New Mexico, because honestly, every team we've played this year, I believe we should have been winning, at least in conference. And New Mexico, it was our fourth game that we've lost in a row, and I was just feeling, and it's, hard for younger players to see, because I want to get top 5 in the conference, because then you get that bye that Sunday, and it just it's a whole new ball game when you go to the Mountain West tournament. And it's hard for these young players to realize how important that is, and so it was just kind of, fourth loss in a row never feels good. And so we turned it back around and we said, we got to get this one today. And we did.
And then for you to play such a huge part of it down the stretch, too. Mm-hmm. How important is that, first of all, for the team, for you to take that role? And then also, how good does that feel for you?
Yeah. Well, definitely it feels nice to score. And so, because that's not really my primary role in the team. And just definitely down the stretch, they were coming neck and neck, and it's just they were giving pretty open shots, and I just said, I'll shoot them. And they went in, so it worked out.
And What's it like to play against someone like McKenna Hofschild for so long and to just see what she does?
McKenna is honestly an amazing player. I am just amazed by how talented she is, and I give her all, like, she had an off night and she scored 24 points. That's insane. And she's just like, yeah, I've played her for a while, and the young players are probably going to be glad when she leaves. But it's just been, she's amazing to play against because it's kind of crazy to see how she creates for herself. So, but she's fun to play against.
And then just looking, not tonight necessarily, but I'm going to write about Jada McNabb at some point. And, just observing her as a teammate, the way she can get offensive rebounds, like, what do you think makes that possible for her?
From August, I said she has magnets as hands because Jada is insane. The ball just somehow it appears. You'll see 3 girls on the ground, and there's Jada holding it straight up and down. She is truly one of the best offensive rebounders general I've ever played with. And she's just like one of those gritty kids. Like, nothing's going to keep her from shooting the ball, playing hard. She plays really hard. And, yeah, it's amazing.
Is that a personality trait to be able to grab rebounds like that?
Yeah.
And do you see that in other ways other than basketball?
Definitely. Like, Jada's such a hard worker, just like in school and on and off the court. It's amazing to see what she does. And just from day one, she's made it her mission, like, I'm going to be the offensive rebounder on this team. I'm going to be the number 1 rebounder on this team. And she hasn't let up for that promise, and she does great game after game.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you guarded McKenna a lot. When you go into a night like this knowing that that's going to be your assignment, how does that change your mentality?
I think it's just like Colorado State, they rely so much on her, and so it's a lot of responsibility that Coach G gives me to guard her, but also it's like a challenge that I want to step up to because I think that I can be the one to stop her. I mean, she still scored a lot, but, we stopped her momentum, and I think that was what was important.
Does that make you feel pretty good as a freshman to get that assignment, that the coaches trust you with that?
Yeah, it's amazing because, coming in, I didn't know my role, and to be developing into the person, like, is their go-to to guard the best player on the other team, it feels good that they trust me with that and can rely on me.
And, how much is Dasha how much do you guys look to her and her emotion, and do you want to win for her, knowing she's like, the main senior, and that, she's got this young team around her and you guys need to perform quickly? Like, what's that mentality as it relates to her?
I think I wasn't here last year, obviously, and so all the freshmen, we just look to her as to, like, calm us down or, kind of just holding us accountable for what we need to do. And she's really developed into a great leader. I think it's just we look to her as much as we look to Coach G. She's like kind of like the first in command on the court, second in command that we look to on the bench, and she's a great leader for us, and we're learning a lot from her.
And this is 7 wins in 10 games against CSU for you guys. Are you aware of, like, the history? Because before that, they led 50-12.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was completely lopsided. Like, are you guys so new that old history, are you even aware of it anymore?
No, not really. I think for the freshmen, it's kind of like sometimes it's nice that we don't know what's in the past and we just go out there and play, whereas sometimes for the upperclassmen, it's like things that they take personal and then they're kind of like it's running through their head all the time. But I think that's a nice thing for me is that I can just go in and just play and not have to worry about added pressure, especially for how young and how quickly freshmen's brains race.
And what did you guys talk about at halftime after such a weird first half?
It was mostly we got to pick up the intensity on defense and then offensively just get into our rhythm. We have so many weapons, and it was just like we got to find a way to utilize everyone and put them in their spots. And I think second half we finally got comfortable and did that.
Okay. And then real quick, I'm going to write about Jada McNabb at some point soon, and just the way she's able to grab offensive rebounds. And, like, as a fellow freshman, like, coming in with her, like, what have you seen from her away from the court that maybe hints that what she is on the court?
Yeah. No matter what she's doing, school, basketball, like, she's just an extremely hard worker. Beginning of the season was rough for, honestly, both of us with people sagging off, and, like, she took that to heart. She's always in the gym, and, that shows, like, rebounding. Rebounding's literally, it's just all heart, and that's Jada. Like, those two definitions, Jada and heart, are together. She's, like, an incredibly hard worker.
Did you see her much in basic training?
No, we were in different squads, but I'm sure she was on top of everything.
Okay. And then how nice is it to have so many fellow freshmen with you as you're developing and doing all this?
I think it's amazing because we're so close. Like, feel like not a lot of groups. It's like different cliques in it, but all 7 of us are so close, and we all just want to see each other do like the best we can. It's never a competition. It's just whoever's having a great night, we're all so happy for them, and we'll see who it is the next night.